All right, we're going to get started with this. And the only way to start this with my friend Julie is with a little bit of a song. So we're going to do this, and we're going to. Can you hear it?
Oh, yeah. I do.
Ready? Come on. Come on now.
Are you expecting me to sing?
Stop.
Not to sing.
So
Although
Miss Julie, what's that?
I used to sing in a backup. I used to sing backup in a band, just so you know.
Did you really? So this is called Get to Know. So I never knew that.
Yeah, I did in California.
But in California. So you lived out there?
I did for several years. Santa Monica, Manhattan Beach, San Diego, La Jolla, Del Mar. Moved around a bit. Loved it.
Okay, so 20 years now we've known each other, and introducing Julie Vanderblue, part of the Higgins group and their own team, the Julie Vanderblue team, the Vanderblue team, Vanderblue, all the names that go to Vanderblue, because quite frankly, when you're thinking of Southern Connecticut, when you're thinking of Fairfield County, it's Miss Julie Vanderblue.
The Vanderblue team. Not Julie, but the Vanderblue team. In fact, one of the reasons I left my old company was they wouldn't let me change it to the Vanderblue team instead of Julie Vanderblue team. And the reason I really felt it was important to change it to the Vanderblue team is because I wanted to attract agents that were as good, if not better, than I was. And if my name and it was all about Julie, I wasn't giving credit where credit was due. So hence, just the segue into it's the Vanderblue team, not Julie Vanderblue team.
Well, no, because that's actually, I do remember that you're always not struggling with it, but always trying to figure the way to position it correctly, because you've always been about the team. And a lot of these folks that start their own team, it is all about them, and you're helping me. But the could be to help everyone. The acronym for the, put that emphasis on the team. I think that's awesome. I think it really shows who you are.
Yeah, thank you.
So what we're doing here with this Real Estate Radio Get to Know is 3 questions. We're trying to keep it around 3 to 5 minutes, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. But we're going to do 2 fun ones and then 1 kind of business question. You'll hopefully like the business question, then you might not like these. But I think I have a pretty good idea of the first one. You ready?
Yes.
Are you a little bit country or a little bit rock and roll?
Ooh, definitely both, but I would say a little more country.
A little more country.
Yeah. I mean, I love the rock and roll part of it, but my comfort zone is sitting in the grass with my, on a horse and reggae.
See, so I did a little discovery. I've realized some Beatles, I think, some country, Doobie Brothers.
I love the Doobie Brothers.
Coldplay for more modern times, if you will.
Absolutely.
So I think that in itself, I've been involved with music my whole life as a kid trying to sing. God didn't give me that quality. We do not sing. I like to awkwardly sing really loud in church, but because I think music is really a great foundation for stuff. Meaning, if you're happy, you find the right song. If you're kind of down, you find the right song. That's always been my kind of MO in life, is find what can make me get back to normal, where I think music can be a good, very, very therapeutic.
I totally agree. 100%.
So leaving a troubling appointment, you're coming home. Is there a go-to song that you might put in?
Oh, God, it depends. I am such a music girl. Sometimes I'll do I can't even sing it, but ooh, child, things are going to get easier.
That's
You gotta take that out, actually.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, go ahead.
So that one just popped in my mind because I had a tough day yesterday, and so a song will pop into my mind. I love. I don't really have a go-to. I have so many that, like, I kind of manifest the radio. I think, like, when I need to hear a song, it just pops up and it works for me. So
yeah, well, that's the radio is obviously in a troubled state right now. We're trying to figure out what's going to happen with the old terrestrial radio, and I'm looking back saying, gosh, I hope it survives, because I think it's a great way to connect, and it's a great way for folks to have a place to go.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's changing. Now you can just tell your phone what to play. That's what I was going to ask you.
I know. Everything's changing, but I still listen to the radio. I listen to both. I mean, of course, I have all the technology that, I can play whatever I want, but I do still like to hear the radio from time to time, and just then it's not a planned event. It just comes what I'm supposed to be hearing, I hear.
I hear you. I hear you. So, okay. The thing that I really want to cover, certainly we can talk about the market. When I talked with my first victim for my get to know you was Mike Tracy up in Hartford area, and Mike is wonderful. You're awesome. And as I told you when we started this, I feel like this is a comfort zone where we've known each other for so long. I feel like there's got to be some things I don't know. I did not know that you lived in California. So my initial takeaway would be that's really cool. And I'm sure when you really start discovering things about folks, your buyers, your sellers, when you're talking with folks, you learn different things, you kind of store them. Because I feel like when you have that one story you can connect to and bring that relationship back together, it's really awesome. And you've always been great at that. You just bring things out and say, remember that time? I'm like, no, but tell me the story. And it's just a big part of the relationship for sure. So one of the things that you started, and I like to talk about, is AIR, all-inclusive real estate. And over the last 20 years being involved in the industry, for me, I've always felt that how can I help? How, as a realtor or broker, how can I really help other than the transaction process? During the transaction process, there's lots of things that you need to be to understand as a consumer. Where do I get this? Where do I get that? And that's essentially what AIR can help with, kind of the white glove, if you will. Why don't you just talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, we've had lists forever. If you're even a halfway decent agent, you have a list of things, providers that you would obviously give to your to your buyers and sellers of, painters and mortgage and attorney and all the things that are necessary. And there's concierge programs that companies have had, but I'm all about networking and really finding the best of the best. And I've been doing this for 22 years, so I've used everybody, and we sold over $1 billion in real estate easily, to about 200 million last year alone. So these relationships are created over years and years. So not only will my clients, anybody using my network, have perks and reward system and reward programs if they align with more than one in the network, but also I know they're in the best hands. And there's Home Advisor and there's Angie's List, but really those are kind of a pay to play. So I would never use one of those, and I respect them and I admire them, and they've done an amazing job. But I personally wouldn't use it because to me it's a client that wants to get business and it's a pay to play. This is really just a network, almost like a BNI for those of you who know about BNIs, which is a Business Network International. Mm-hmm. The problem that I find with those is that there's one of everything, and you can't choose others. It's not as exclusive, in my opinion, in that you get a choice. So I've vetted everybody. So everybody in this network is vetted, and we're talking everything from the essentials like attorney, mortgage, insurance, everything that you could need. But then there's home services, which is long after you've actually bought the house and you need to do something. There's also neighborhood network, which is all of our favorite vetted, anything from where to go for dinner or where to go for health reasons or for beauty or fitness or anything, or dog walking or babysitting. So there's no guarantees. It's just that these are people that we have worked with for years and we trust. And it's not a pay to play where we get kickbacks or referral fees, nothing like that. It's just so that we can offer more service, because it's all about relationships now. I mean, Zillow and all of those, you can buy a house online, and you really need the relationship of someone within your community, which is a local versus Home Advisor, which isn't uber local. So does that kind of?
Oh no, it does, because you're hitting on that. That's warming me up in a way, because it's like that's local is what it's all about. And I feel like a preacher half the time when I do my videos, because I feel like it's like shut up, Chipman, just get your license and do it. You're gonna keep preaching about what I should be doing, and I get these little instant messages all the time saying, "So when you get your license?" And I think, well, I'd rather have the impact from the outside looking in. I think sometimes the consumer can appreciate that too. We won't get to a topic that I really want to cover with you, Julie. We won't get to it today, but we can do it in the future, is video like we're doing today. Because one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of the top producers throughout the country do video, but typically someone's doing it for them, because you get it. You're very busy. You got 17,000 things to do in an hour. So how can you get that video done for Bob Consumer and really do a quick walkthrough of the house with the video? I think there's such tremendous power in that, especially when someone's focused on networking and focused on helping and collaborating. And that's what AIR really can do, is saying that, look, as a realtor, I want to give you 3 mortgage guys, 3 inspector guys, 3. It's all about giving 3, because that's how we were taught, or that's how realtors are taught, making sure you give options. You may really like Bob, but you got to give Sandy and Joe too. And
Exactly.
I think that's the struggle for me. If I was going to do it, I'd want to do what you're doing, is really fetting it out and saying, I want to just say that I really trust them, and I'm going to give you 99%. It's all going to go well, because we can't predict 100% of anything. But if you have that trust with that provider, then I think it's a win-win for both the provider, you, and most importantly, the consumer.
Absolutely. And you know, it's not a new concept.
Right.
I just think we're doing it in a unique way. And I think video, to your point, is absolutely necessary. You know, nobody, you know, kind of surprised them on video today. So of course I was like, no,
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking, you know, authenticity sells, and everybody's trying to be, you know, perfect, and nobody wants to,
Oh, that's like, that was perfect. That was,
I know, so perfect. My phone just rang,
in case you want to get in touch with me.
But, you know, I think vulnerability is really in, you know, and nobody's perfect. And you know, Photoshop and all of that, you know, I am who I am. And, you know, would I have changed had I known I was going to be on? Probably would have. But I think being relatable is, and one of the things that has made me so successful, in my opinion, is I'm approachable and I'm real. And there's an article about me in Metropolitan Magazine. The name of it is Authenticity Sells. And they named that. And it was all about being who you are. And people want that. So if I'm working let's say working with you, and I'm interviewing one of my networking partners, we don't want it with a setup and a lights and I mean, maybe there's always a
cuts and edits and angles, and no, this is real.
Yeah. So I really appreciate when I watch video, I watch those. I don't watch I you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. They grab your attention a little bit more because you feel, well, real.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't feel staged, and nobody wants to be sold. That's another thing. I think I'm successful because I'm not
going off a script.
Sales is about listening and about educating and about hearing and about providing options. Sales is not buy this product. Sales is let me find what you're looking for and let me listen to what you need, and I will bring you what you need, versus selling. Nobody wants to be sold. And there's so many techniques to selling that I think real estate misses the boat on, and agents are never taught how to properly sell, which is why we have such a bad reputation, but we won't even go there today, because I can get on my soapbox on that for an hour.
Because it's a fine line, you know. I mean, I think you can follow all the classic sales pitches and trainings, and you can do that, but you better still be you. And when you buy scripts, you can still look at those scripts, but you better still be you, because it just won't work. The audience 9 times out of 10 will hear it. They'll get uncomfortable with it and say, oh. And so, you know, the salesy stuff, I completely get it. And that's why we love you, Julie. And I want to go back to 1998, 99, when I started with Realtor.com. I really started thinking about it. I don't think I sold you your first website. I want to see if I can recollect. Would it be Lisa Van Buren or Robin Fry?
I think it was Lisa Van Buren.
Most like, well, Miss Lisa's now 20 plus years at Realtor.com. Of anyone we can say, holy cow, how did she do it?
I saw her at the Riz Media Exchange. She looks great.
She's still going. She's still going. She just somehow rides that wave and just knows how to say the right thing at the right time. And all those layoffs that have happened over 20 years, I completely give her kudos. And I will also say that whole team that I had, Lisa trained me. And then I became the district manager, and I was kind of her boss, but come on, she just knows what she's doing, and she's awesome. So when we go back to that time, though, do you feel like, if you can remember, did it feel like it was really happening, like the internet was going to be huge? Were you one of those folks that said, I got to really understand this? Or were you one of those folks that went,
I was one of those folks that was like, we better catch up to this and understand it before it's happening. And, you know, definitely, you know, it's funny because we've been doing something called exclusive sneak preview for 15 years, which is properties that were not on the market. Now other companies are calling it coming soon. And literally it helped shape my business. We were the only real estate company that had an online presence, a website dedicated only to properties not on the market. Because everybody wants to know what's not available. Everybody wants to hear about things before they hit the market. So to hear now that people are getting kudos for doing it, I'm like, oh my God, I've been doing that for so long. But
I remember you were talking, they were called pocket listings back in the day. We're saying pocket listings, right?
No, we never use the word pocket listing, ever.
Right.
I wouldn't allow my agents to use pocket listing because it wasn't a pocket listing. It was for all the agents. And pocket listing sends the connotation that it's just ours. And
yeah.
And this was, we honored commissions. The other realtors really loved it because they loved to pick up the phone and call their own client and say, hey, I have something you don't know about. Because how many times have you heard, oh, my agent didn't tell me about the house, I saw it online. Of course they did.
Right. Yep.
But this allowed other agents to bring their buyers to something before it came on the market. So, but it did teach me about myself. And one of the, I remember Alan Dalton, he taught me so much, but he said once that, what are you doing what are you doing better than everybody else? But more importantly, what are you doing that nobody's doing and hasn't thought of yet? And so I am always looking for what people are not doing. And even back in the internet days, it was like, why is everybody fighting this? Why is everybody trying to not provide the information to the public? So I jumped on the bandwagon pretty darn quick with the internet. I was not fighting it. I was like, hooray for change. And I always say to the team, if you're not embracing change, there's people that fight change. Then there's people that embrace change, which you should at least do. And then there's people that create change. And we want to create change, but at least we have to embrace it.
That's awesome to hear. The change thing, I was like, oddly enough, I'm sure you watch all my videos, but last week's episode was on change. And because the leaves are changing and I had the flannel on, it changed.
Yeah.
I'm starting to grow my Movember because I told that I have to start like a month early just to grow things by December. I really don't grow facial hair, but change happens. And just watching it from the outside looking in, from my perspective, it's always been bumpy. But the folks that get it, you've just seen them in the back of the room getting it and not worrying about the noise, if you will. And there's been a lot ever since that happened. The term noise wasn't even in our space. The term, all the new things, predictive analytics and big data and all that goes back to the foundation of real estate is networking, making relationships, and being trustworthy. I think it really can be simplified to that. And you're on the top of that pedestal and how you approach your business. So I feel like we actually are running long, but I have no idea on my Zoom how I even tell that. But let me just ask the final question, is kind of a fun one, hopefully. Bucket lists. On your bucket list, we typically have a whole bunch of stuff that we really hope to get to. And then we have some stuff that I probably won't get to those. But is there one that you really want to make sure that Julie gets to on that bucket list?
God.
If you say Ireland, I'm going to be really, really excited, but you don't have to.
Well, I spent a lot of time with my children in Scotland. My daughter went to University of Edinburgh, so I travel a lot. We have a house in Norway. We do a lot of traveling with the kids. I would say it would be family related. What first came to mind is to start a family business. I've got very talented children in 3 different arenas. One is very, very artsy and environmental, and one is an engineer and computer, and one is sports and psychology, and all entrepreneurial. So I started a business when I was in college, and then I started a business called Julie's Java in Colorado. And I want to teach my children the importance of entrepreneurship and starting something that you're passionate about, and not to think about the money, but to think about, and people say, oh, do what you're passionate about, but you have to think it through. You have to see the business and not think of necessarily how am I going to get rich, but how am I going to serve? How am I going to make enough to sustain my lifestyle, but more importantly, to serve others and to bring value to others. And we're already looking at a few different opportunities for a family business to at least launch, potentially sell, but at least educate my children on the importance of entrepreneurship, particularly in an uncertain arena of job opportunities. So I think that would be it, and we're looking at a golf course right now. So that's a whole
Really?
other story. But I would say it would be a family launching of a family business, not family business, but a business that the family creates and either sells or maintains.
So all the ideas coming together, you got the coming in from the psychology of it and how we organize, you got the computer, make sure it's
Oh
focused and tech
God.
enabled, and then you have the marketing and creativity from your arts
Yeah,
child. So
my
this
little
is,
brain. I at night, I think about all these cool things, and then I bring it to the team. Like a lot of what we think about, I'm like, okay, well, this like air could be something that the team works on, quite frankly, but I've got to find something with them that really, creates passion in them. But I'm a little bit of an opportunity junkie, so I have to be really careful because I see opportunity in absolutely everything. And I truly believe in you manifest, your positive energy manifests what you want. Sometimes the opportunities or the potential opportunities, ideas will fly at me. And if I have to overcome something, it's like really looking at the library of ideas that I want to implement and pick out the few that really I want to bring to fruition, because otherwise nothing happens, because there's just too many things, too many ideas can create, you just don't do anything.
mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'm
Yeah, well, no,
excited.
you speak to that, the magic of creating opportunities where
Yeah.
you have a plan and a goal, but by helping to create that opportunity, don't just let it magically happen. The magic is how you make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's
So,
fun and it's exciting and it keeps, nothing great comes without passion. Nothing exceptional comes without passion. So I tell my team, if you think of this as a job, then you shouldn't be working for me. I don't want you to look at this as a job. I want you to look at this as your life. And um and and passion comes with life. So
well, yeah, and if anyone says that Miss Vanderblue is not passionate, you're not speaking to her, you're not listening to her. And Julie listens, Julie tries her best to always understand, and Julie really always tries to find ways to help. So Julie, you helped me out. We thank you very much for being on our show today. And
thank you. It was an honor and a privilege. Always great to talk to you, John.
it's awesome. We'll see each other soon.